All right, y'all. Welcome to Street Church. Congregation, come on in. And for first time visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, y'all. Today I'm going to be talking about a Pennsylvania judge by the name of SONYA McKNIGHT. SONYA McKNIGHT is a Pennsylvania judge for the last 3 years. Not only has she misused and abused her authority as a judge, a district judge in Pennsylvania, in 3 years, she done shot her husband in the head while he's sleeping twice in 3 years on 2 separate occasions. Not 2 taps to the head and he survived, but 2 different incidents. She done shot him in his head while he was sleeping. This is the hand of God on this man's life and the wrath of God on her life. And in my thumbnail, you see her in handcuffs, and that's the picture I wanted. She had another picture where she was in her robe as a judge. Another picture, without the handcuffs. But I wanted Black America, first and foremost, to see this Black woman who has disgraced not only the Black community in Pennsylvania, but the Black communities across the U.S. She is corrupt, and she wakes up devising evil, and she does what is evil in the sight of God. And it is good that they finally put her in handcuffs and arrest her, and they should charge her to the fullest extent that the law will allow. She should get the maximum of whatever charge she's convicted for, or whatever charge is she's convicted of. But her unlawful practices and behavior while she sat as a judge were irreprehensible. And as far as her being a judge, her actions, she cannot be redeemed for them as a judge. She should never be able to sit as a judge again. And the crazy thing about it is they're still basically in deliberations. I don't know, because an hour ago, what I'm saying, it could have been that it was decided, her fate was decided as far as being a judge again. I don't even know. This is separate. Not only are they seeing whether she should be a judge again, right? Sit as a judge again and receive penalties for her behavior as a judge, but she's got to face, being fighting against the fact that she could be charged for shooting her husband in the head for the second time. And this was just in weeks ago. SONYA McKNIGHT. And the practices, the unlawful practices, the crimes that she has committed as a judge has to do with the fact that she resided over a case where the police officers that, I think it's one of the police officers that was involved in, she did something to where this officer did something, and she filed a citizen's complaint against him, and he had a case that came before her, and instead of her stepping down for conflict of interest, she stayed on, right? She didn't remove herself from the case, knowing that they had this conflict between one another. Another time, she was trying to tamper and get involved in her son's DUI case that he had. She used her social media account that was about her being a magistrate as a mean of selling product, which that is illegal. You can't do that. Some kind of product she was trying to sell under her professional social media account. You get what I'm saying? So her professional life as being a judge, she tried to use that to sell product. Not supposed to do that. She had something else going on, and they also believe that she may have used her power to write the protective order restraints that she had on her husband to cover her butt for shooting him in the head. So somehow, that fits in to her trying to cover her own tail over shooting him in the head. This woman is she's just evil. She's just an evildoer. She's just an evildoer. And I don't understand why she tried to shoot him 2 times in the head. But thank God, hallelujah, he survived twice. But here's a question we got to ask too, because this is street church. We're going to lay it all out over here. Look, how did this man end up wanting to sleep with her, be with her, after she shot him in the head first time while he was asleep? How did she convince him to be with her after she shot him once in the head while he was sleeping? While he was sleeping. Come on now. Come on. So I wonder, did the first shot in the head kind of mess with his head to where he didn't know no better, and it made him not as mentally sharp, I should say, to say, hey, no, there's no way I want to be with you or even around you or near you after you done shot me in my head after I'm asleep. Because you got to think, okay, so, and another thing is, where's this man's family? No daughter to step in, no. Well, I don't know if they had kids together or whatever. They didn't talk about. Oh, yep, she had a son. Yep, I know. There you go. Duh. You know what I'm saying? She had a son because she tried to help the son with his DUI. But was it his son, or was it from a previous marriage or from previous sex? You get what I'm saying? And it wasn't his real son. Because it seemed like after he got shot in his head the first time, his family would have stepped in, knowing this woman shot him while he was asleep in his head. To not allow that to happen to him again. But it did happen to him again. He got shot in the head again. So here it is. And the reason why I'm doing these things is because we as Black people need to know that we have corruption running rampant in our Black communities. We need to do a better job as Black people in, first of all, training up future leaders and influencers and politicians in our communities. We don't spend time, we don't spend money, we don't spend time, we don't spend the effort into getting these kids trained up to become our future aldermen, city council people, mayor, governor, and even training them and grooming them to be our presidents. We don't do that. We spend too much time caught up into entertainment and sports. That that time and money and effort that we spend into um, into entertainment and sports is doing us a huge disservice. It's a huge distraction for us. Um, and if we sat down and trained them up to have some integrity and know about the laws of the land and to learn politics, they reading and math would be more proficient. This is why, in the black community, that we're so inefficient. The kids reading and math is low. It's terrible. This is why, and I should just do a separate video on it, but I'm just gonna say this. This is why I really believe Sukiana, right? That black female rap artist. I'm gonna just say she a rap artist, slash influencer, flash, IG model. Sukiana really thought that girl was offending her by calling her a musician. She mistaken it for magician. She thought it was similar to being called a magician. And I want to know how you know what a magician is, but you don't know what a musician is. So was she playing? She had to be, because how you know what magician is, but you don't know what musician is? Come on now. But if she wasn't playing, whoo, that was terrible. That was terrible when this woman was trying to call her a musician, somebody who make music, and she said, don't call me no musician, I make music. What is going on? But this right here, this is related because people like SONYA McKNIGHT, people like Mayor Tiffany Henyard in Dolton, Illinois, the village of Dolton. The mayor from West Baltimore doing Freddie Gibbs, Freddie Gray, excuse me, not Freddie Gibbs. He's from Indiana. He's a rapper from Indiana. I mean Freddie Gray. The Freddie Gray incident, and she was the woman that was the mayor at the time. She was a black woman. This guy, Brandon Johnson, I think his name is Brandon Mayor Johnson of Chicago, Illinois. Sonny Holston of The View. People like Joy Reid. You can see the illiteracy and the lunacy of not being trained up for the positions that they're in, not being groomed for the positions they're in, not being qualified for the positions they're in, unfit for those positions that they have chosen to put themselves in. Because it's always them being drawn into corruption and crookedness. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is taking the village of Dolton to the point of bankruptcy. Right now, that little village is bankrupt because of her, because of excessive spending and adolescence on her part. Same way with the mayor of West Baltimore at the time the Freddie Gray situation happened. When Freddie Gray, spine and neck was just broke by those police officers, and she just allowed people to riot on purpose. That was her solution, to let people tear up her city. The calls that she made, the actions, even the way she talked was like her conversation in press conferences. She sounded like she had the education of a 7th or 8th grader at best. You can go back on them yourself. Same way with Tiffany Henyard. She sounds like her education level is at 7th or 8th grade at best. And her actions is that of a child that's out there like a juvenile delinquent, just constantly doing bad behavior and then yelling and screaming to confront the behavior instead of holding herself accountable or not even doing it at all, right? Doing research on whatever actions she needs to take for her village and doing the right things. But I don't want to get off track. This is about SONYA McKNIGHT, but she's just, these are examples of, look at all this corrupt leadership that we got for black people. You know, you got Al Sharpton, shady as all outdoors. He don't mean anybody no good. He just there to incite the riot and leave with no right steps to take. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's not there to train up young men in the way that they should go and learn to be, you know, productive leaders in black communities and have some integrity and do what is right in the sight of God and in the sight of man. You can't name 10 people who he trained up. Name them. Show them to me. Show me where he went into even his hometown and he raised up at least 20 kids, right? I mean, this man ain't that busy to where he could have the Al Sharpton school of such and such where he taught them how to dress, how to converse, how to speak in public. This is all the stuff that he did. The issues we have, you know what I'm saying, in black communities that need to be addressed, the right ones, not narratives made up for him and the Democratic Party, but the actual issues, and then train them up the way they should go. There's not an Al Sharpton school for that. You know, there's not, you know, just look at our black leaders, you know what I'm saying? You know, the only person I've seen is trying to do a school is LeBron James. And that, you know, instead of, because the kids don't know no better or whatever, you know what I'm saying, they want to do no better, they over there doing bad and not doing what they should do. And it's probably because outside of LeBron James, you know, this is a busy man, I'm quite sure. You know, he has to lead at school. He can't be there in attendance to see it in its process. But I can guarantee you the teaching staff has something to do with the lack of that school having an impact on the kids like it should. It says that it ain't doing nothing for them kids. Bottom line, that's what I'm saying. And he trying. But it's the people he done left in charge that's going to let him down with that school where it won't work. I need to get an update on that too and find out what is going on with the LeBron James school. I believe it's in Ohio, Akron, Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. But I need to find out what's going on with the students there because the last time I seen it wasn't doing any good. But this is a prime example of what's going on. Those people who he left in charge ain't been trained and they're not used to that going on in the community when they was growing up. They came out of poverty most likely in bad situations in their communities when their community was when they were young in their communities, and it just goes on and on. And the only way to curve it is grab 20 kids a piece. All of us could. You know, if I could afford it, I would do it. That would be one of the things I would do. If I could afford it, I start with 25, right? And I'll get somebody to match it. And I'll get a curriculum that is only math, reading, spelling, writing, and science, biological science, right? Biology, medicine, because we have a diabetes, high blood pressure crisis going on in our black community. So I want them to learn, it will be health. Just put it that way. Math, reading, writing, spelling, health. When they got older, right, because it would be a K through 12, they would learn about microeconomics and macroeconomics, and then they would learn about housing, real estate, right, accounting, right, and then they would learn not politics about politics, but I would teach them about the Constitution, the laws of the land, local, state, and federal, right? And I would have these kids learn about the positions of all the branches of government. What it takes to be a productive soldier if you're going to be in the military, what it takes to be a productive and impactful politician. Like if you're going to be Senate, Congress, this is the things you need to do, right? Alderman, mayor, governor, even president. I would have them learning what it takes to be those things, like how to fill those job positions correctly and be qualified. Uh, uh, Press secretary, Secretary of Defense. What is their job? What does it entail? Things of that way, and train them up and get them in there to where they qualified to do these jobs when they get these jobs, when they are elected in these positions. That should be the training for the next 10 to 20 years for black kids, black children, the youth in the community. And I would also teach anti-gang, morals too, right? Morals. Because eventually the good out of all that would stick. And then I would work with the parents and find ways to give them incentives to de-dysfunctionalize their environments. So that we wouldn't get SONYA McKNIGHTs and Sonny Hostins or Hostin, or we wouldn't get people like Joy Reid. We wouldn't get people like Al Sharpton. We wouldn't get people like Obama, who have the appearance of good people, but yet do crooked and corrupt things towards us that humiliate us and harm us in the end, that do nothing to impact the communities we live in an impactful way. Black people. None of these people have a track record that can show me. Look, Al Sharpton been around for 20 years. Show me where a city of people were impacted in a good way and he changed lives to where that community is no longer impoverished, and the crime rate is down to a point where this neighborhood is a good, high quality, value neighborhood, city. Show it to me. Show me what Barack did in 8 years. I'm asking you the same question. Show me what SONYA McKNIGHT did. See? And this is who we talking about. Yet and still what this woman did, this woman lived like a gangster. She lived like a criminal using the criminal system to be a criminal. And where did she get that from? She got that from the streets and the environment and neighborhoods that she lived in. I can most definitely guarantee that's where it come from. Her home was dysfunctional. And all it was is that she made it out and saw that she needed a certain amount of influence and power to do the very criminal things she saw going on. She just saw another way to do it besides joining a gang. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I noticed about a lot of these leaders and influencers that are black. Some of them avoided the gangs only because they were smart enough to see that they could be criminals within the system, embezzle, do shady stuff with the books, cheat the people, abuse their authority. Why do we have so many of those black leaders like that? Mayor Kilpatrick was like that for Detroit. Mayor Young was like that for Detroit. And listen, before I get a comment about white people, what is the color of my skin? Who am I as a race and a nationality? Obviously, I'm a black person. So why am I going to worry about white people? Furthermore, white people have nice places, right? They've managed to do some kind of damage control and train up and groom some very successful politicians who we ain't doing it yet though. This is what I'm saying to you. We don't got good ones to where we don't have to worry about the bad ones. We don't even got a lot of good ones. You get what I'm saying? Like for the most part, they got politicians that write laws that help us and not hurt us. And they're white. But we want to try to oppress them with white privilege, CRT, DEI, all this stuff. Because we think what are we looking for? Are we looking for righteousness? And we looking for the right path to take us into a better future? Or are we looking for revenge and reparation? Revenge and reparation ain't going to get us nowhere. Righteousness is the way to lead us on the right path to a better future. If the politicians we already got in office, black politicians, would do what is right and what is righteous and have some integrity and make sure that they're not a part of the laws that's being written to humiliate us and hurt us, we could get somewhere. So, that's all I'm going to say on it. Y'all can check it out. Her name is SONYA McKNIGHT. She's a judge. She was a judge in Pennsylvania. And it's another example of corrupt, crooked, wicked leadership amongst black people. And she did more harm and hurt towards her own black people and the black community in Pennsylvania than she did good. And on that, this is Street Church. I'm letting the congregation out.